and via satellite in space has driven internet usage in Rwanda to nearly 61% of the entire population. Let's have this report. By the end of 2024, figures from the Ministry of ICT and Innovation showed that 60.6% of Rwandans were internet users. Among them are schools that use it to enhance students' learning and financial institutions that use it to deliver services. Particularly here in Ndera, both teachers and students carry out their research easily using the internet. This is a good solution and step towards a good future and our country's vision. Clients can deposit their money without necessarily coming here by using their mobile phones. They can also withdraw their money easily without lining up or even spending money on transport here. 34% of Rwanda's population own smartphones. In rural areas, 19% use the internet, compared to 57% in urban areas. Internet access is delivered through 1,760 towers across the country, with plans to add 840 more by 2028, which will increase coverage to 96% nationwide. These are some of the investors in fiber optic internet and satellite-based internet distribution.
Yes, so we decided to take two ways to increase our reach, to be able to give our services to many customers as we can. It does not change the service quality. The service quality remains the same because our whole purpose was to service enterprises. Enterprises have specific needs, and we've built our operations to attend to those needs. So the service quality remains our top priority, and it doesn't change whether it's wireless or fiber.
Satellite comes in as a solution that you won't have any fiber cuts because there's no fiber to the sky. It's simply a dish that we mount on top of the roof, and it communicates with satellite direct. We have equipments under our store, hundreds of them. We can deploy anytime. And, you know, some of the equipments that we have, like a high-performance dish that you'll see, can see more than 2 satellites at the same time. So there won't be any issue at any point that you lose connectivity because it's satellite.
A recent report by UK-based technology research company Cable ranked Rwanda first in East African community for having the fastest and most affordable internet. Cable showed that average monthly internet costs in Rwanda dropped to $43.22 from $60.96 in 2024, a 29.1% decrease. Rwandans and foreigners who have visited other countries confirm that Rwanda's internet is fast and affordable.
I'm connected now. I'm connected. I watch the video. I make everything with connection without problem. I took like 5,000 since I have been here. They tell me that it's unlimited, but till now I have also connection. I've been here for 23 days now in Rwanda, and it's very good. I have no problem with 5,000. I have connection for more than 20 days, and they told me that it asks for 1 month. They say 1 month will be enough for me, and I realize it. I'm always in internet, morning till evening till night. I'm in internet. It's very cheap and very good. So really, you are making a very great job.
Rwanda's internet is the cheapest in the region. For example, I spend about $20 on internet per month, and this cannot be seen anywhere in the region. Many countries in our region use $20 for internet in a day. In Rwanda, I use it for a month with my 7-member family. You cannot see this anywhere in East Africa. Alex Nhare, CEO ICT Chamber, says home and mobile internet prices are affordable, except for business internet, which he finds expensive.
What's still challenging is business internet. Business internet is still expensive. That is at sometimes it's at 10, 20 times the price of home broadband or home internet. I also want to invite just for our members, the tech or the internet service providers, to revisit some of these pricing models for broadband, for internet, just to bring it to a place where really the business community can embrace it without fear of high prices or looking at it as a cost center, but rather they're looking at it as an opportunity to really grow. And it is in that expansion of the market that really all of us are going to thrive and build a digital economy.
The government has rolled out a nationwide fiber optic backbone stretching 7,000 kilometers. This has helped attract $819 million investment from 2013 to 2023. The country's goal is to attract the same amount in just 1 year by 2035, as Rwanda aims for the ICT sector to bring in over $800 million annually. Our farmers engaged in greenhouse agriculture say it is a solution that avoids the use of bee-killing pesticides while also increasing production and at the same time preserving arable land. We do have details.
The importance of cultivating greenhouse is that it reduces the pests and diseases that could attack your plants. For example, if your plants are planted on the field, on an open field, any pest, any disease that could be transferred by a vector, maybe a fly or equipment, farm equipment, could transfer the disease to any other crop. But when the crops are planted in the greenhouse, there is guaranteed that there will be no other pests from the outside. That is to mean that your plants are going to be well protected. Our greenhouse for sure boosts the production. For example, here we have tomatoes. And tomatoes, they have told us that one plant is harvested for 3 to 6 months, and it produces 30 kilograms. I'm sure that if this same tomato is planted on an open field, it's going to produce less than 30, maybe 20 kilograms, because there will be a reduction due to pests, due to environments like heavy rainfall or other natural calamities that could reduce your production. And for sure, this greenhouse is going to boost up to 50% of what you could have gained in an open field.
Our young people engaged in modern agriculture, having been trained in Israel, are among those continuing to help farmers build greenhouses across the country.
We put these greenhouses for protecting our agricultural crops grown inside here. There are many purposes, or there are different advantages to grow in the greenhouse. First, the use of inputs is decreased. When we use the inputs we used in the greenhouse is minimum compared to the one is used outside the greenhouse or in the open field. Another thing is for the climate protection. For this, if we grow in the greenhouse, you limit the use of the inputs which are harmful to our environment, like pesticide, like inorganic chemicals or fertilizers. If we will grow in the greenhouse, we limit all harmful inputs that can affect our environment. Another thing is to minimize the input. For example, if you grow in the greenhouse, we install the drip line system. The importance or the advantage of drip line irrigation system is to minimize water usage. For example, if there is a time for applying irrigation or applying water, we recommend or we control the amount of water we irrigate without losing any quantity of water. If we are going to apply, for example, 3 meter cubic, is that. If the water level is sufficient, our system is automatically closed compared to the moisture content presented in the root zone.
The governor of the Western Province, Jean Bosco Ntibitura, has pointed out that this modern farming carried out in roofed structures is among the practices that helps increase production while meeting quality standards. The cost of roofed farming structures ranges from 13 million Rwandan francs upwards, depending on the size. They can be used for cultivation irrespective of the farming season. Now, the Rwanda Social Security Board reports that in just 6 months, the funds allocated to retirees have increased by 50% following the government's decision to raise the minimum pension amount for senior citizens. This increase has enabled beneficiaries to start income-generating projects so that in the future they will not be a burden to the state. Take a look. In a statement issued on 24th January this year, RSSB announced that the maximum pension for retirees had risen from 13,000 Rwandan francs to 33,710 Rwandan francs. In the 6 months since they began receiving the increased amount, beneficiaries say it has transformed their lives. My pension was 409,000 net, but with the recent changes, I received an extra 70,000. We are grateful to the President of the Republic and the government. If someone was having 13,000 but now can get 30,000 per month, unless if they are really ungrateful, but it is something worth being grateful for. This pension increase has also served as a seed capital for some to start income-generating projects so they won't be dependent on the government in the future, says Uwimana Dorothy, President of the Rwanda Pensioners Association. We have spent days having field visits to our beneficiaries' projects in different parts. In the places we reached, they are happy and grateful to the President and the different authorities because of the pension benefits that were increased. Above all, we observed steady growth in their projects, with some who didn't have any now starting up several projects. We are not supposed to be a burden to the government, but instead we are supposed to make our contribution to national development using our pension benefits. We are therefore happy and grateful to the government and assure our fellows that what we started we shall bring to accomplishment. Dr. Hitmana Regis, Chief Benefits Officer at RSSB, explains that the total funds allocated to retirees rose from nearly 5 billion to 7 billion Rwandan francs in just 6 months, a 50% increase. He adds that RSSB will continue raising the amount to protect beneficiaries from poverty. When we look at the money we have cashed out as pension benefits in the previous 6 months, we can see an increase above 50%. Our hope is that in the pockets of the beneficiaries, something is coming in, and this is reflected on the market. These changes happened after 6 years of no reforms, but we are looking at how we can have reforms more frequently as prices change. This will be a small step in reconciling market prices with pension benefits, but also aligning it with our capacity as a fund. The pension increase came after social security contribution rate doubled from 6% to 12%. Economists note that pension systems are closely linked to the overall health of a country's economy. Pension benefits are also invested in developmental projects. That is where, as a central bank, we have the mandate to inspect institutions like RSSB to ensure that they invest member contributions in viable projects so that members can make profits. So, I can say this is like any other savings. This money is invested in projects that contribute to national development, but also at the same time earn members' profits in general. Figures from RSSB show that only 9% of the working population is enrolled and contributing to the pension scheme. The institution notes that some companies are still slow in implementing the government's policy of contributing to employees' pension. Now, foreigners who attended this year's Convention of Jehovah's Witnesses in Kigali have commended the security and cleanliness they found in Rwanda, affirming that these are among the reasons they will return, with some deciding to stay longer to explore the country's tourist attractions. Among the foreigners and participants from the East African countries, as well as from Europe and America.
Warmly, they've had open hands, big smiles. It's been amazing. I just love it here, and I love the people. The hotel, they welcomed me very warmly. They gave me everything that I need. It was a beautiful experience. Well, I had heard about gorillas and the safari, but I was excited to meet the people because I've always heard that the people were kind and warm and clean and friendly, and that's exactly what they've proven to be. I wanted to visit the city, I wanted to visit the country and the villages and meet the people everywhere, and also wanted to see the animals. I never really heard a lot about Rwanda. I had to do research on the internet so that I could figure out what I was going to see while I was here. But I do have some friends in Minneapolis that are from here, and they have family here, and so we were excited to come meet them.
Oh, well, I have, in Rwanda here, we have visited Akagera National Park. It was amazing. We got to meet a lot of animals, not the lions though, but all of the other animals. It was really great. And then we've just been in the city with our friends and kind of, bought some souvenirs and all of that stuff. It's been really nice. And the nature has been amazing, so different from Finland. I really recommend going into the nature. We've also, here, because we've been at the convention, we've had different activities. We've had this heritage village thing. We've got to learn about these ancient Rwandan ways of living. Has been really nice. And then we got a historical city tour. We also visited the Kigali genocide memorial. Was something I felt that was really important to learn about. Of course, very tragic, but I'm really happy that I went there. The most important thing is I think the people have been really amazing and very welcoming, and then of course the nature. I really, really love the nature here. It's just so beautiful.
The spokesperson of Jehovah's Witnesses in Rwanda, Francois Regis Migambi, praised the role of the government and security agencies in helping to warmly receive those who attended the convention. More than 42,000 people have attended the convention held in Rwanda for the very first time from more than 20 countries globally.
During life's moments, playing hoops, getting away, making moves, breakfast with family. Inyanje is always there. Whatever the occasion, whatever the moment, always ask for Inyanje.
Nkiri muto arababwiraga data bati ntabwo wagira umukamo mwinshi utunze inka imwe, ariko nigeze acika intege. Mama akinjira mu bucuruzi hari abamubwiraga bati ntabwo watera imbere udakorera mu iduka rigezweho, ariko ntibyamusubije inyuma, yakoranaga umwete. Njya muri kaminuza hari abanshidikanyagaho bavuga ko nashobora kaminuza naturuka mu muryango wifashije, ariko byaragiye nanditse amateka mashya. Igihe cyo gutera ishema umuryango wanjye kigeze, bamwe bakomeje kumbwira bati ntabwo watera umuryango wawe ibyishimo n'ishema, ariko narabishoboye. Hari abakekaga ko nasigira umurage ukomeye abankomokaho, ariko ubu mfite uruganda rutunganya amata. Banki ya Kigali yabaye umufatanyabikorwa wanjye mu rugendo rwose, inzozi zanjye ziba impamo. Bigereho.
Welcome back from that very short break. Now in Syria, Bedouin communities, once known for their nomadic life and livestock herding, are now facing major threats to their traditional way of life, where years of civil war, climate change and economic hardships have pushed many to leave their ancestral ways behind, settling instead in towns and cities. Al Jazeera has the report.
Just north of Aleppo, Bedouin clans graze their sheep in the fields after the harvest. They have to pay for access to such rare pastures in the peak of summer. The owner of the herd, Abu Muhammad from the Mawali clan, has set up camp nearby. Summer is the worst time of year for Bedouins. There hasn't been much rain, and the flimsy structures they live in offer little protection from the sun. He says the cost of food for his children and fodder for his sheep is nearly impossible to afford.
We will have to move into villages due to the difficulties we are facing. Those who can afford to rent a house will do it, and those who can't will set up a camp next to a village. We can't stay in the desert in these harsh circumstances.
But moving to villages isn't the solution either, according to Abu Muhammad. Nearly 14 years of civil war destroyed thousands of Bedouin homes, and basic services remain a distant dream in many of the areas into which they moved.
Several decades back, Syrian Bedouins used to be numbered in millions. But with the tremendous challenges facing them, the majority have moved into cities. Abu Muhammad believes that the Bedouin way of life, as he knew it, will soon become a thing of the past.
Bedouins play an important role in the Syrian economy. Agriculture, including the country's estimated 18 million sheep, is a significant export. They also play a role in security and politics. In July, Bedouins marched on the southern city of Suwaida to fight against the Druze, whom they accused of killing their cousins.
We are all one. Whenever any of us are in trouble, all the tribes are mobilized. This has been the case since the time of our ancestors.
The Bedouins believe their survival depends on tribal solidarity. But with the current challenge of nation building, they are having to balance loyalty to the tribe with loyalty to the state. Mohammed Val, Al Jazeera, Aleppo, Syria.
Now, after a series of high-profile disasters, some people are starting to feel that air travel accidents are becoming more frequently. In addition, concerns over planes manufactured by Boeing are collapsing their company's share prices. BBC Verify has looked at the data in the US and worldwide over the past 2 decades and analyzed the general trend in air incidents.
This was filmed seconds before an Air India flight headed for London Gatwick crashed, killing 260 people in June 2025. The one survivor, Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, was sitting in seat 11A. He couldn't believe he made it out alive. Last May, a Singapore Airlines flight dropped more than 50 metres in 5 seconds. Last December, nearly 180 people died after a plane crashed in Muan International Airport in South Korea. In January this year, 67 people died after a passenger plane collided with a helicopter in Washington, D.C. In February, this Delta flight skidded along a runway in Toronto in flames before flipping over. And it was only a few weeks ago that a plane crash at London Southend Airport killed 4 people. So why does it feel like more planes are crashing these days? Are certain manufacturers more dangerous? And is 11A really the safest seat? So that Singapore Airlines flight back in May 2024 had serious turbulence. One man on board died from a heart attack after the plane jolted up and down for 4.6 seconds. So climate change affects temperatures and wind patterns, and so in the next few decades, experts say the amount of severe turbulence around the world could double or even triple. But the BBC's been looking at the number of crashes. Firstly, there have been several high-profile air accidents recently. We don't have the stats for 2025 yet, but the data says crashes are generally down.
And so it's quite easy to get the impression that there's been an increase in these accidents around the world, but actually figures tell a very different story. Actually, these number of accidents are going down in a very dramatic way over the last few years.
This is how the number of accidents on commercial flights has changed since 2005. It's a clear downward trend, even though the number of flights taking off has increased. Although it has a broad definition of accident, including aircrafts being damaged or needing repairs. But if you look at deaths in air accidents, that's decreased over the same time period too. And the few spikes just reflect a few major disasters.
Of course, being hovering up in the thousands of feet in the sky, we get the impression that maybe this might not be the safest form of transport. And then, of course, we have quite a lot of high-profile cases involving manufacturers like by Boeing that sort of adds this other elements to it as well. So, of course, it's on the forefront of our minds.
But when there is a crash, the public are really interested in it, hence why it's all over social media and news outlets. So it's not necessarily happening more, but we're just seeing it more. We'll get back to Boeing in a minute, but yes, all of Josh's digging around found that overall, flying is getting safer. Are you more likely to be involved in a crash driving to the airport in your car than you are getting on the plane and flying to a destination?
Yes.
That's very reassuring to hear. This website ranks the safest full-service and budget airlines for this year, using factors like fatalities, number of incidents, and pilot skills and training. Air New Zealand, Qantas, Cathay Pacific, Qatar Airways, and Emirates scored highly for full service. And for low-cost airlines, HK Express, Jetstar Group, Ryanair, and EasyJet were at the top. But what about the manufacturers? Every time there's a crash, people in the comments are always asking, was it a Boeing plane? Was it this type of Boeing plane? What is the deal with these Boeing planes? Are they more dangerous than other types?
Excellent question. People always ask about Boeing versus Airbus. In short, a majority of the planes out there are manufactured by either Airbus or Boeing. So if we take a simple probability is 50-50, isn't it? Or with that in being involved in an incident. But if we look into historical rates of incidents per a million flights, Airbus has around 4.9 incidents. So take it as 5. Right? Boeing has about 5.6 incidents per million departures. Yes, Boeing is slightly higher, but that difference really is negligible because when we talk about incidents, they are reportable incidents, i.e. it could be a turbulence, it could be a runway excursion, not necessarily ending up with fatality.
Staff at Boeing have previously raised concerns about the standard of production, and Boeing admitted a mistake after a door blew out of this 737 MAX 9 aircraft mid-flight in January last year. It's denied that it puts profit over passenger safety.
Unfortunately, Boeing has taken a bit of a hit lately in the last couple of years, but it doesn't make them more dangerous.
Okay, so what about choosing your seat on a plane then? Speaking of the Air India crash, there was one survivor who was sat in seat 11A. I'm sure everyone after that crash was trying to book seat 11A on their next flight. Are any seats safer than others?
Yeah, there actually is, but funny enough, it's not actually 11A. Usually the absolute safest one is close to the tail of the aeroplane. In an unfortunate situation where the aircraft does crash into ground, the tail has a bit more clearance, if you will, in a way, and is usually where the black boxes are stored. Why? Because it's historically a safer area.
So are there any other ways to keep safe on a plane?
Just keep your seatbelt fastened. I know it sounds stupid. It helps a lot even in turbulence. Turbulence could be unexpected. So if you are always strapped in, definitely more safer, much safer than without the seatbelt.
Report brings us to the end of tonight's edition. My name is William Evans. Have a good night and happy week. Goodbye.